Hello, good morning. Guido coming at you from the left side of the Atlantic with a coffee tuck. I got my great big old mug of coffee.
Haven't you just? Well, I've got my Pilgrim mug, which of course has approved tea in it, the Royal
Excellent.
Blend version.
Royal
Um,
Blend.
on the correct side of the Atlantic, I might add.
Good morning, everybody. We got Gator, Wayne, Hussers, Brute, Brute, Stickler. Morning, morning. How's
Kangaroo.
everybody's weekend going? How's your weekend going?
It's been a good weekend. I was just saying when we were off stream, I've managed to work out how to trickle charge my bike battery now because we've had Alaskan weather here in Cambridge. It's
That's
been minus stuff. I don't know what minus stuff is, but I found out.
that's
so
ridiculous.
Oh no, this is the Riviera of the United Kingdom, and we're in minus. How stupid is that?
We were cold last week, but man, this weekend's been 70 and it's glorious.
Well, you see, that's what you get for living the good life. That's.
I
What
mean, this is a roasty Scottish summer right now.
Well, yes, I mean when you're talking that sort of temperature, you're talking, singlet, shorts, probably
Yeah.
budgie smugglers, that sort of stuff.
The hell is a singlet?
Yeah.
That's a sing.
What's a singlet? It's a string vest. In the old days, you never see them, right? It's like
This
it's
sounds
just long
medieval.
sleeves like that. Pardon?
It sounds medieval.
It is medieval. It's a singlet. It's a string vest.
Oh, we call him a wife beater.
Oh, I don't know about that yet.
Is it like an undershirt?
Well, it's a vest you put under your normal clothing to keep warm, but it's got holes all over it. It's like a stringy vest. I don't know. How do you explain that? Somebody Google it. Yeah.
I don't know.
Like a
I don't know.
spotted suntan.
I don't know if we could keep a PG-13 rating with that,
No.
whatever that is.
Yeah. So yeah.
Anyway,
it's a singlet.
okay, some kind of T-shirt. Well, let's just leave it at T-shirt.
Well, it doesn't go as far as T. It doesn't have the T
Right, no arms,
shape.
so it's more like a
No
wife
arms.
beater.
I don't know what they are, but yeah, we'll go with that. I mean, a white beater to me is a baseball bat, but we won't go there.
We call it a wife beater here because that's the kind of person who wears those. Like,
Oh God, yes,
Yeah.
down south.
yeah, yeah. It's always got
Yeah.
some grease stains on it and whatnot.
Yeah, that's the one.
Or what wrestlers wear. That's true, Cliffy. See,
That's it.
yeah, but a
There you
singlet
go.
has like pants too.
Yeah, but this is just a shirt, a t-shirt. Well, it's a singlet.
Is
but
it tight?
goes as far. Yeah, well, sort of tight, but it goes as far as your belly, and then your belly sticks out, so you're underneath it. You
No,
know what
I
I mean?
know what you're
Because they're all
talking
big and
about.
fat.
Yeah, that's almost singular to England.
Oh, is it? Because you guys
Yeah.
wear vests, but as t-shirts, don't you?
We wear
Like,
baggy T-shirts. We don't wear budgie smugglers.
That's
We
us,
don't
right.
we don't put our big fat bellies in singlets and go wandering down the stony beach of South Britain.
You know it. Causing
We
mayhem with a knotted hanky on your head.
we wear board shorts.
Yeah, you wear baggies.
Sasquatch. That depends. If you're going to an American, if you're going to a U.S. Territory, you do not. If you are stepping into another country's island, you do. I don't know,
I know.
what.
I tell you what. People. I don't know if he's planning on doing that, but you can go from your gaff down Central American coast, and you can stop off at Belize, which is a British protectorate, without worrying about passports. Well, you used to be able to. I don't know if you can do it now.
Yeah, I think you do. If you're going to get into like Jamaica or one of these places, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you need a passport. But interestingly, if you're going to go to the U.S. Virgin Islands or Puerto
Well,
Rico,
close loop, as Stickler says. Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, so if you're with a big, what cruise ship group, then you can do that. Yeah, I see what you're saying because you're getting back on the boat and coming back. Gotcha. There you go, Stickler.
Yeah.
Good.
Love boat.
That's
Wait,
better
love
info.
boat.
I would suggest just getting a passport, but
I suggest going to what was formerly British Honduras. Did I tell you about British Honduras? I don't think I have.
Did you invade it once?
No, I actually no. We had the RAF invade Guatemala, which is next door.
Oh, good lord.
As much as RAF can invade anything, they
Temporarily,
the border post.
temporarily
Yeah.
went into there and came back in.
Yeah, we asked them to do it, and I remember telling you about it because I was a young Lance Corporal at the time, private first class in the U.S. Army. So I was a young Lance Corporal, and I had the power in the radio to call up the Harriers. So I did. I was like, I got onto, I think it's called Joint Air Tasking, JTAC or something.
JTAC, yeah.
Yeah, and basically they'd set a Browning 303 up on the top of their guard command post, pointing towards our observation post. And I thought, well, I'm not having this. I'm not having the Guatemalans point guns at me. So I got the radio, and 2 Harrier jump jets coming. And you should have seen the panic in Guatemala. They thought we were getting invaded, mate. There was klaxons going off and all sorts. I was like, yeah, I'm a Lance Corporal. I've just got you shit in your pants. It's cool.
Yeah, the passport process is kind of painful, and it does cost a little bit of money. But if you have it, and it's not a big deal, it doesn't take that long either. I mean, you might be inside the time limit at this point, depending on what you're planning on doing. But I've got one for all my family. But of course, we go over to England for the wife's family, which we're going to do this summer, I think. I do believe.
Yes, because you're coming to the Tank Museum.
Trying to.
And we're gonna get the old GoPro on the go, and we're gonna get you sat inside the TOG. That'll be fun.
Take me a week to walk through it.
Well, yeah, exactly. You'll have to film it from one end to the other.
Let's see, channel news, guys. What's been going on? I finished the G-Sword 1010. I think I did a kind of mini review on that. That came out already.
Cool.
The Juto, which is the tier, I believe it's, yes, Juto, the tier 7 Japanese heavy. That review will be out this week as well. What else we've been doing on the channel? I did some DCS. We have an high aspect BFM.
I like that. It was almost 4 loops, wasn't it?
4 circles, yeah, I think
4
so.
circles.
Yeah. I should have counted them.
I've never seen that before. I've always seen 1 and 2 circle in BFM. I didn't.
Well, that was a 2 circle fight. It just went around 4 or 5 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. There's only there's 3. There's kind of vertical, but that's actually sort of either a 2 circle or 1 circle as well, but debatable. But there's really only 2 main kinds: is the single circle and 2 circle fight. Either you turn away from them, or you turn into them, and you both go. You both turn at each other, or one reverses, and now you come back. What they call single circle.
The question I have about that particular scenario, SOP or whatever it's called, it's obviously the let's call it the NATO side train in that respect, or is it just USAF, or is it just NATO, or is it
everybody knows the concepts. The way
so they understand the concept of one circle, 2 circle.
To varying degrees, yes.
So you would expect an enemy to do something along those lines, so you can react to that. Because how do you train for something that they train that you don't know about? Do you know what I mean?
It's a good question. And BFM basically is what you said, that everybody more or less understands the concepts of BFM to varying degrees, depending on their skill and training and whatnot. Then you got to throw in aircraft capability and what their game plan would be based on their aircraft and their weapons. Yeah. So you got to take all that into account. But if you've got basically parity, more or less, say you're merging with a MiG-29 or a Sukhoi and an F-15, both of you can do more or less the same thing, plus or minus, skill, weapons, some other stuff. Maybe some hardware. Does somebody have a helmet-mounted queuing system? Does the other guy not? That kind of stuff. Right. So, you would expect that when you merge, that they would either go 1 circle or 2 circle. You got to watch what they're doing. Then you've got to react to the bandit. It's always flying in relation to the bandit. So whatever he's doing informs what you're going to do, or what your possibilities of what you can do are.
It's quite interesting because, for me, for having fought a ground war, and the set, I want to call them rules of war, but the set processes of war. You do your bounding, you do your flanking, you do your, assault, and you do the follow through and all the rest of it. So there's all that sort of great SOPs built around ground troops operating on the ground. And I never really thought about how it works in the air. So there are accepted processes that you guys are taught or
Yes,
trained
and
on without giving any secrets away.
yeah, all right.
You know,
But so what you got to
fit
do?
the whole thing.
What you got to do is
Sorry.
you have to expand that past the merge, because
Okay.
the merge is the last part. The merge is like hand-to-hand combat,
Okay, got you.
right? So
you're
everything,
at here coming in.
and much
Yeah.
like hand-to-hand combat, you would rather it didn't get to that,
Sure. Okay,
right?
So you want
So you're figuring if you got the hand-to-hand combat, something else has probably gone wrong earlier, right?
Right, got you.
Or you just had to, you were forced to, you didn't want to, but so back it out, and now you got to look at the distance, because whereas an infantryman might be talking a couple kilometers,
Yeah.
you know, of engagement, right? There's
Yeah.
all the moving up and positioning and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
2 to 5 kilometers max, depending on your weapon reach and all that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Back out air-to-air combat to 100, 200 miles,
Wow.
right? So then
So
that's
you gotta
all.
be thinking 200 miles ahead because
Well, you're moving fast. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah, and you've got air-to-air missiles. And
Sure. So that's exactly right. So it's all the radars that are surveilling, and then the aircraft moving towards each other, provided the SAV-2 airborne air-to-air capability aircrafts. As the miles come in, what it's called, without I won't get into any numbers, but it's called the timeline. And each Air Force has its own SOP, as you say, on what they do, what their airplanes are doing, what their radars are doing, what weapons they're selecting, what their maneuvers are going to be, what the plan is, defense, offense, offensive systems, defensive, whatever all that is, to get to the merge if they have to.
Yeah.
And hopefully killing everything, you know what I'm saying? So it's the same
Yeah,
basic idea in a fluid 3D environment in the air.
That's very interesting. That's
Yeah.
very interesting. I wasn't. Well, you don't stop and think. You think, when it comes to flying, it's pretty much predetermined. But there is skill sets and flexibility in flying.
100%. Yeah.
To get the opportunity to get the first shot, if you like,
Yeah.
to surprise the enemy, as it was.
Yeah, you try to get the first shot.
Absolutely.
You try to defend if you
Yeah.
need to. You leave if you have. There's all kinds of stuff. Just like in ground combat, there's SOPs. There's plus or minuses for certain maneuvers. There's certain things that should counter other things. All that stuff. Yep.
I mean, it all goes to rat shit when you have first contact. It's like the old adage: any plan fails on first contact with the enemy, doesn't it?
100%. What I always told them, it's not some kind of ancient wisdom nobody knows, but the big thing is I tell the students is like, well, once you select what you're going to do and start the maneuver, always remember that the enemy gets a vote.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and when the enemy gets a vote, the opponent gets a vote, that may have to change what you're doing. Depending on how they maneuver, that plan you just had may not be good.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Sorry. Off track there.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Cliffy, exactly. And that's the same idea, Everyone has a plan till they start fighting.
Clippy, innit?
Absolutely. So did some DCS. We got the high aspect BFM briefing out there if you guys are interested in that. I actually picked up Mountain Blade again.
Did you?
Yeah,
You did mention that,
started
didn't you?
smacking people with the pointy sticks. I hadn't played it for about a year, maybe a year and a half, I guess. Maybe it might even be 2 by now. I don't remember, but I know they'd been developing it a lot along the way, but I really expected it to be considerably better than it was, and it's more or less the same.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a shame, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think they're
That's
adding a
such a
whole
shame.
lot of functionality. Yeah, Cliffy, I've been reading about Pal World. People are in all kinds of apoplexy about that thing. Mostly from, who is it that owns the guys that think it's Pokemon? Mostly from the Pokemon people freaking out about it. Nintendo, that's them. Doing some Mountain Blade. That's been okay. I went in with the plan to be a merchant.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
That's like a good deal.
No, it was just something I thought I would give a shot. Let's just move around. Obviously I'll fight and do the tourneys and take on bandits and all that. I was curious if I could get rich being a merchant, but the economy in that game is kind of wacky.
You say you are poor. You're a poor merchant.
Well, I mean, on the one hand, it's actually pretty good because it is kind of random. It does does level out later in the game, but early on it's very chaotic the way they have it set up, and it's hard to tell where you can make profit and where you can't. And you're not going to make bazillions, even though if you get a huge caravan, it's not like you can drain one place and go throw it all in another and make tons of money. Funnily enough, you can with weapons, which is hilarious. You can, oh yeah, you can whack people and steal weapons and armor and go back and just make tons of money. If you're trying to move, the products around, it can be a real arse pain.
Jars of honey or...
Yeah, it's like jewelry or grain, fish, hides, cows, pig, a bunch of crap like that. So
it's trying to appeal to those gamers that like the smack them up and kill them all, and it tries to appeal also to the gamers that like to do, like, the trader type of work and all that sort of stuff.
I don't think it's necessarily aimed at the trader type. I think that's sort of a sidebar on it. I think you can do it that way. I've done it a little bit. I turned into a little bit more raider than merchant at times. Because I need some money. I'm gonna have to whack some people.
Be a blacksmith and sell swords for 20,000.
Can you do that?
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Well, NPCs do.
I wonder. But is it worth it? Because to be a blacksmith, you got to break down stuff and turn it into different metals.
Yeah, you got to craft, haven't you?
And then so I was wondering that was a question I had if crafting was even worth it, because I remember last time I played, the stuff you could make was never any better than the stuff you could find. And so it just seemed like a big ass pain to put together some sword that it just isn't any better. And I also found out, we mentioned it last week, there doesn't seem to be any more higher end stuff that's interesting. I'm early on, and I've already got all the best weapons more or less that I can find. The armor takes a while because it's expensive, and but the weapons come very quickly. And you're like, well, and you look at the difference, like, well, there's no difference here.
So these are weapons that you've gathered off other players, or
this is not PvP. Whatever. The one I'm playing is all PvE.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so it's
what
just
you've gathered.
Yeah. And you kind of have to take on lords and bigger groups to get better stuff. Obviously, if you run around killing looters and bandits and stuff, you never really find much of anything.
All right.
It's not better, but you can sell it for a ton of money. Usually you have 1 million gold and like 2 or 3. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
There you go. So apparently being a blacksmith. So I bought some, they're called workshops. And last time you could just kind of buy them and they would just generate income pretty easily in the background. Well, they've changed them up a little bit. And they're a little bit more complicated on you can't just go somewhere and go, all right, I'm going to start a brewery or a whatever.
So you have to actually be involved in it then?
Well, you at least have to look at it and put the workshop in the town that has the resources around it for that thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then you can manipulate it a bit if you want to be real fiddly with manipulating the economy, but that's not that easy because there are other third parties and they're doing stuff as well, so it's hard to kind of corner it necessarily. But I always refer to Google Foo if I need to, figure it out. I'm like, all right, what the hell's going on with these workshops? Why do they suck? I'm like, okay.
Are there other live players in the same area?
No, it's all PvE. It's all AI.
It's all PvE.
It's all AI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's just you versus everything else. It's your world.
Yes. You're the hero. You are the main character, basically. Okay. Yeah.
I might give it a look actually.
It's kind of fun when you're riding a horse and whacking people.
Yeah. Even if they are AI or NPCs, it's good to whack them in it.
Yep. Yeah, I think
the interaction with the NPCs like then is it like old school or is it proper AI or?
It's pretty old school. It's pretty linear in what they can do. I mean, there are some things that unlock it when you have certain renown, meaning you're more famous kind of thing. That you can do a little bit more here and there. You get more favorable terms on things if you're more famous or if they're enemies of you.
What's it called again? What's it called?
Mount and Blade. I think it's Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord. You want the Bannerlord version? That's the new one.
All right. I might give it a try.
Grumpy old man. It's Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord. There's 3 versions. There's Mount and Blade, which was the original. Then there's Warband, which is just an upgrade, I believe, of Mountain Blade and has PvP, but you probably want the Bannerlord version, the Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord. There's also a very large mod community that adds a lot of cool stuff to it. I haven't dug in. Yes, you can get it on Steam, absolutely. That's where I have mine.
We'll have a look at that later on today. Cool.
So I've been doing that, and I'm going to dig into the mods here pretty soon. I was watching a guy; he had a Game of Thrones mod, which looks pretty cool. He was actually riding a dragon, which was interesting.
Wow, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Although he wasn't flying. From what I could tell, it only walked.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, so it was like he was on a great big horse, but he was absolutely just destroying.
It'd be a dragon skin on a horse.
Yeah,
Right?
well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was over a horse or a whole new creature, whatever. But
oh, got you. Oh. Still cool though.
Yeah, it's not a bad game, but it did not progress as much as I thought it might have.
That's a shame, isn't it? Because it's been, like you said, a year. You would think that it would have developed quite significantly.
Yeah,
I would have thought, but there you go.
It's an independent group. It was very small. The first one they put out, it was extremely small. In fact, I want to say was it a Diablo probably knows. I think it was a wife and a husband and maybe a couple extras or maybe just them. The first game that came out, it was very small. I think they have a company going on of Tail Worlds, TALE Worlds, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, DCS Mountain Blade. Let's see. We should be having the British invasion, actually the American invasion this summer. We're planning on going over there. Home Improvement.
Yeah. What's the latest on the home improvement?
All right.
Can, before you go into anything, did your drains hold up?
So far.
Cool. Touchy wood.
Yeah. No floaties have come back into the house.
That's nice to hear.
In terms, now I need to touch wood now because I'm making fun of it. Also, I'll have a floaty in here next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So far, so good, Matt. Thank you. So the wife. This is how all these things start, right? She's like, I hate our mailbox. We have our mailboxes are out on the street.
Yeah.
And they're on poles. I don't know if you guys have that there or whatever, but
no, I've seen your mailboxes. They're interesting.
Yeah. So they're out on the street, and the mailbox, the UPS driver drives up, and he puts it in the box and drives it, goes down the street, and it's a right-hand drive vehicle.
The flag comes up, doesn't it?
Yeah. So she's like, I hate ours because it's an old white one. It's kind of sideways a little bit. And this has gone on for a couple of years, and finally I told her for her birthday I'd get her one. And the birthday came and went, and I hadn't got it yet. She's getting on my case. I'm like, all right, so we sit down and we order it off of Amazon, and it shows up, and it's massive. It's like this big. It's like, I don't know.
What are you expecting?
I mean, what is the deal with Amazon when you get these Chinese things? It's either this big,
yeah,
or
or
it's a mailbox that I could crawl into and mail myself.
It's a dog house.
Yeah, I could mail my dog in it. It's big enough to mail the dog.
Brilliant.
What shows it? It's on Steam. That's how I play it. I play it every day on Steam. It's there.
So, do you have a particular problem with the ground there? Because you basically live in a swamp. If you dig that,
no, actually, no. Where I live, the place where I live is where the Indians lived when they were here.
Oh, and so it's a hill.
It's essentially a hill. It's a relatively high. I'm probably 40 feet above sea level where I am. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good drop.
Well, I'm not worried about you now.
Yeah.
I was worried
now
about you flooding and all.
The water table's low. I can dig down 2.5 feet and it starts to fill up with water.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah, so it is swampy, but where I am is dry. We don't have flooding issues at our place like that.
Right.
Now
so
around
you put the post in.
Yeah. Well, so that's part of the story. Funny thing is I go out there yesterday. We're gonna have a big storm, so I just wanted to dig around the old one and see what arse pain it was gonna be to pull that thing out. I was envisioning a big clump of concrete around the bottom of it. I was gonna have to dig out and futz around with and hurt my back and all that crap.
Yeah.
Oh, Manor Lord, they're making a new one. Anyway, but I dig a little bit around it, and it's just all wobbly and loose. So that's where it sits right now. I'm pretty sure
Okay.
I just need to dig a little more. It's gonna come right out. It might have like a metal plate at the bottom, but whoever put it in did not. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate.
Thankfully,
Yeah, at this point, I appreciate that they did not concrete that sucker in.
you appreciate the lack of professionalism when installing the mailbox.
But I'm about to.
Yes.
Concrete this
Are we gonna
sucker
have
in.
professionalism?
Well, let's not go that far. We are gonna have a bag of Quikrete. I'll give you that much.
There you go. That's all I use.
We're gonna have a professional bag of Quikrete.
Yeah.
Oh, Man Award's a new one from this. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, so this one has you got a 4x4 post, then you got a metal sheath that goes over the 4x4, which is the decorative metal piece, and then of course the large enough mailbox to mail my dog is attached to that thing. So that's home improvement today. I'm gonna have to go out there and dig that hole and figure out how to get that post in there and all that crap.
Have you got your quick drying concrete already, or are you gonna have to go?
Well, yes and no. I have a bag that's been in my shed for about 2 years.
That's what I was just about to say.
And I'm not
I've got
sure.
one.
I'm not sure if it's actually a chunk of concrete with a bag around it.
Yeah. Has it gone solid yet?
I don't know. It's very possible that it has sucked enough of the
Yeah.
of the
Moisture
Florida
from the air.
moisture out of the air and turned itself into a concrete chunk.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
occasionally I've gone in there like I should dig into that and see about but if you compromise the seal anymore, it'll for sure be worse.
Right.
So
Yes.
I got to dig the hole, figure that out, and then when I'm good and ready to do the concrete, I'm gonna go stab that thing with the pointy bit and go, is that actually usable or not? And when I find out that it's probably not, I'll have to run down to the store and grab a bag.
Go
of-
down the store and get some more.
Quikrete.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm like you. I was just about to say I've got a 2-year-old bag of concrete. Well, it's cement mix with the stones separate. So I'm hoping when I come to use it, because we're going to be doing some outside work, which I'll fill you all in at another date later on this year when the weather gets better. And I'm hoping it's going to be still usable because it's a bag of cement dust which is sealed,
Right.
which you then add to the water and then put the stones in. So I'm hoping that, but I've got these visions because I've stacked stuff on top of it, you know. So I've got these visions that I'm going to get out. I'm going to have a solid block of cement, looking like a house brick squashed flat,
And some rocks.
and some rocks.
Yeah,
you
so,
do.
so that's the home improvement thing going on. Next stream, guys, Tuesday is my next day off, so I plan on streaming Tuesday. We'll do some tanks then.
Cool.
And that's it for channel news, I think. Hey, is it the Kui Lin?
Yes, it looks like it's got the old Chinese dragon's head on it, isn't it? The WZ Chinese dragon.
There it is. The
Have
Kui
it,
Lin,
there it is.
1,500, or 1,500 would be nice. 15,000. All right, we're going to place that bid. Whatever.
You're going to do it live? Oh,
Min bid. Well, the problem is it's 12 hours, right? So you don't know if you win till.
yeah, you won't know, will you? There's only 2,000 of them, isn't there?
Yep, on NA 2,000. I don't know. I don't need it. Obviously, I have the W. This is a reskin, which only 2 of the tanks were new this time, I think.
Yeah, that.
The Chinese
barrel-
BZ thing and the double barrel.
Yeah.
I did get the double barrel. Did you get any of them?
No, I'm not bidding anything. To be honest, I mean, I'm not worried about the gold. The gold's there, but I'm just like, I don't want to get involved in it, really. I think it's just a distraction.
I think I missed the Chinese heavy by only about 2,000 gold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
Oh.
updated mine to
Alright.
2,500, and I think people, maybe even less. I think some people wanted it at 26,000.
Yeah, I think everybody got the TL on bid when it comes to that. Everybody's been saying the TL was on bid. They didn't, or they bidded 100
Though-
point a gold more.
The TD was. I only bid once.
Yeah.
I bid 9,100 and got it.
Got it? Yeah. I think everybody's doing that.
But the tier 10 did increase a little bit, but not by much. I think what was the original was 25,100, and I think it went for 26 and some change, or maybe 27.
Yeah.
I-
I'm sort of not interested in it because I missed out on getting the tier 10, to be honest.
We'll talk about the SU Diablo. I think I'm with you on that one, because when I looked at the stats, I was like, what on earth is going on here?
Yeah, the SU was the one I was going to go and get, but I was too late for it. So
Yeah.
I'm not bothered with the auction. There's only 5, isn't there? I think there's 5.
This is it. I think this is the last one.
Yeah, yeah.
This be's the last one, so we'll see if I get the dragon themed thing. All right, ready to shill?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do
I think
this.
it's
Good.
working.
Ooh.
I didn't prepare it. Oh,
All right.
it's slowed down a bit.
Oh, yours is struggle bussing.
Have you got batteries? Have you got?
Yeah, it's got batteries in the bottom.
Of course it has, because it was working. Hello. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Let's see. What are we doing? I don't know.
Well, I think. No, it's.
Go on, Chrome. Come on. There we go.
There you are.
What do we got for sale in World of Tanks, fellas? What do you think? Is everybody ready to spend some more money? You might want to watch.
Well,
Might want to watch out.
sorry, go on.
I was gonna say you might want to watch out spending money. Did you see the?
Yeah, you don't want to be spending any of that gold, do you?
Did you see the rumor about the end of Watt?
Yeah, what 2's out now? Did you not know?
I'm serious. We'll get to
Really?
it. Oh yeah.
We'll get to it.
Yep. The sky is falling. The latest sky is falling thing is going on.
I haven't been on the forums lately, to be honest.
All right. How about you guys? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, Kedge has got it there. We'll talk about that a little while later. I'm having trouble here, fellas. Come on, there we go. All right, premium shot. What do we got? You spoiled it, Kedge. No, that's fine. 252. The tank that. Oh, that's apropos. The tank that destroyed the game.
Yeah.
The OG tank that destroyed the game. So it's for sale. We've got the Kaori is back. In case you missed that, we have the FL10. This one gave me a. I had to think about it for a second. When I first glanced at it, I thought it was that French Revelry.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I looked at it and went $17 for a Revelry.
Knew that one.
No, this is the tier 6 thing. Kaori with the skin, and these are exclusives and whatnot. Got the Rudy, which is the tank you can switch from Polish to Russian. They did that once and then quit.
They did, didn't they? Because I
Yeah.
guess it wasn't such a big seller.
Yep. That was apparent. Remember they advertised that as a thing that was coming, right? They were like, oh yeah, we're gonna have all kinds of tanks that you can switch nations with. Nobody cared.
Nobody was bothered.
No. Really nothing else here. There's the Lorraine. I ran into a Lorraine the other day.
What was she like then? Tall,
yeah.
lonely, blonde? Yeah.
This
most Lorraines are.
no, this Lorraine just YOLO'd in and got destroyed,
Really?
but managed to take 2 chunks out of me. And then I turn around. It's the new map with the castle in the middle. What is that called?
Oh, I know the one. Yeah, with the low-lying airfield. Long
No.
airfield. One
No,
side.
it's got the big castle in the middle. It's got the
waterways on the right-hand side if you're south spawn.
I think so.
it's got
There's like a lake, and then there's the sniper hills, and then there's the little village down low on the other side of the outpost. Yeah.
Yeah. Himmel's
Like
outpost.
I'm in the Juto, which is the tier 7 Japanese heavy, and so I'm mid tier, and I'm headed down to the village to fight. I'm going up that ramp where you go hold down. I start down the hill to get down to the city, and there's already a Lorraine come all the way through that little village, and he's just sitting there on the road, and he just starts laying into me and the other guy that's there. And I'm like, oh, so we punish him completely.
Absolutely.
I'm like, well, that's interesting. And the next thing I know, I look up, and across that open field, there's the village, field, and the tall castle that looks down on the open field. There's a freaking IS-2 driving through the middle, just straight through the middle of that. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, all right. So I come up because I got good gun depression. Take a shot at him. He shoots me on the move, hits me and pins me for 400 because he's got 3. And I'm like, oh, great. So then I back off. He completely comes out, goes down where we are. We're fighting this dude. I'm backing up. He's going right at me. And I don't know if I hit an ammo rack or the guy was having a seizure or what, but I think he could have shot me like 3 times. I keep backing around the corner. There's like a little edge right there. I keep going around. And he's coming back, following me. And I'm like, your gun's been on me for it's probably been a good 5 to 8 seconds. And he had to be reloaded. Never fired.
Reloaded, yeah.
Never fired. Ends up dying, and I'm sitting there now. I've got like 200 hit points left after all that whole thing. And it's like 2 minutes in. I'm sitting there going, I have never seen that happen on this map. I don't know what's going on today.
Those sort of battles are so frustrating when somebody or a couple of them YOLO into you and they take 90% of your hit points out. Even though they die, you become almost ineffective because you know that somebody breathes heavy and your tank's going to explode. You've got 10 hit points left.
Well, we were winning by like 6 tanks by then. The other side was already winning quickly. Their team just went crazy, and so I'm pushing. I go up and over the thing. I'm trying to get across to the little ledge, and lo and behold, now there's an ISU kind of halfway out in the field. He sees me and annihilates me. I'm like, I had 1,500 damage in the 2 minutes or whatever it was. So I got some damage out of it, but there were tanks in every position I would have never in a million years thought they'd be in. It was just one of those games that I see so much lately where it's just mental. It's mental.
Yeah.
Just mental.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. What else they got for sale? We ended up winning.
Well, they've got, I like the little Japanese tank destroyer. It's all right. It's a premium. It's cool.
All right. Yep, gold. I don't know, fellas. There's just really nothing going on right now. We don't even have an event. Oh, we do.
Well,
we have the auction.
We have the auction. Yeah.
So I'm assuming. I don't think Battle Pass starts till February. So I don't know if they have something else planned in between all that stuff or what.
Well, I did. You can click on the random battle drop down and you go through. Because I was looking for front lines to see if that was dated up or anything like that. Any information on that? Nothing on that. Nothing on anything.
Yeah, Diablo's right. There is Onslaught. I always forget about that because I don't do it.
Oh yeah, Onslaught. Of course there is. See, I would love to do a little bit of that, but it's the wrong time of night for me, and I don't have enough tier 10s on my EU account to do it.
I didn't realize it went that long. There's 21 days of that left. Holy shit. Well, there you go. There you go. Although Onslaught happens during Battle Pass all the time, so I don't think Onslaught necessarily stops Battle Pass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, what'd they do that ruined it? I've completely lost the plot on Onslaught.
I like the concept of 7 versus 7. I do wish they had something a bit more about that in the game. Without all the fancy stuff that they like the power ups and everything else. But instead of having 15 against 15, it'd be cool to have 7 versus 7.
I don't think they needed the power-ups. I'm still a little bit fuzzy on why they think all that stuff was required.
No.
Oh.
No.
People play it, so obviously they like it, I guess. Yeah, the buffs and debuffs, all that shit. But they've gone hog wild on Cold War, right? They're like, oh, now we can do all our little buffs and debuffs and...
they've got... Cold War... is a shoot up. It's Cardium tanks, isn't it? So I did 10 battles, and I've deleted it now. I've uninstalled it.
I'm about to. Yeah, I need to do that too because it's taking up space.
I don't want the updates taking time up and all the rest of it because it doesn't appeal to me at all. But it might appeal. It'll appeal to a lot of people, I'm sure.
They nerfed all the tanks' view ranges, but light tanks. All right, that's interesting.
Wow.
So they send the open.
Yeah. I might get into this just to see how I can perform in my light tank then.
That's a downside for that. I can see that, especially with good players. Working the vision, yeah. So maybe that's not the best idea either, man. I don't know. There's not enough tanks either to keep them honest, right? There's only 7 tanks on each side.
That's interesting.
Maybe in a 15v15, if you nerfed some stuff and gave light tanks a little more vision. But I can see that becoming hugely overpowered immediately just because the guy's abusing the system there. Or not abusing it, but leveraging, let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, using all the advantages that are given to him.
You did 55, Wayne, and so you didn't like it, or was it average? What was your opinion? You say niet, but is it niet because it was just sort of average, or was it just not fun? That's a lot. You played it a lot then. I only have like 3 battles. Yeah, it only took me 3 to give up on it.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like a fast, furious shoot 'em up and kill 'em all. It was like it is what it was, and it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
Frantic and arcade, like absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's what it is. It's just Call of Duty in a tank.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I saw it. What do you guys think about the auction tanks? What did we have?
I really wanted the double barrel. I really did.
You didn't get it?
No, I didn't. I was too late to bid. By the time I got out of bed and checked it, it was over and done with. Because I forgot the time frame, didn't I? So I actually accidentally went back to it at some point and went, oh right, so I've missed out on that one then. So I don't really want any of the others.
Did you have a hard time getting your teeth in or something?
Yes, get my teeth in, finding my wallet, all that sort of good stuff. Finding my slippers, get my glasses because I need glasses to find my glasses, don't I? So,
right.
I missed out on it.
We're gonna leave this. We're gonna leave this over here. Just ignore the other tanks that are in here. It's tier 7 heavies, but that way you guys can see the numbers right here. This, and I think Diablo mentioned it. I was looking at these numbers and I'm thinking, what on earth is going on here? So we have a 390 Alpha. We got 2 barrels, 258 pin. What is the standard pin on it? Well, it's a heat round, sure. Of course it is. 300. Okay. So we got 300 heat round pin. We got 2 barrels. We have 9 seconds to reload. Remind me on the double barrel stuff because I don't play them very much. Does this mean every 10 seconds it can shoot?
I think it's a single round loading time, that, surely.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm saying though. So a barrel can shoot every roughly less than 10 seconds, especially when you start. I don't think they can take rammers, but vents and all those brothers' arms.
No, they can't do rammers, but you can get crew skilled and all the rest of it, can't you?
So it looks like that's right. So 19.18 for both barrels. Then you have, I think, 7 seconds between each shot, right? So you can shoot. You wait 7 seconds. You can shoot the next one.
Yeah.
Or if you wait 9 seconds, you have another shot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The 7. Oh, is the 7's the lockout? Is that right? So if you shoot both, it's a 7-second lockout. Then the 9 seconds begins. I think that's how it works, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's how it works. Yeah.
9 for first shot, 17 plus for 2 shots. Right.
7 seconds to swap to the other barrel.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But is the other barrel loading while you swap?
Yeah, that's a good point. Are you loading the empty barrel as you swap over to the full one?
It gives it a DPM of 2,441, though. So.
Auto reloader. Oh, okay. All
right. So yes. Yeah. And this is what caught my eye. At one point, this is the Russian inaccurate, typically big dispersion, long aim time, supposedly 122. This is a magic 122 though, fellas, because it's a 1.92 aim time and a relatively accurate for a 122.35 dispersion.
0.35. You can probably get that down anyway with directives and crew skills. And stuff.
If you fire while reloading, it resets. Okay, there you go. All right, good to know. So you can fire every 9 or 10 seconds, basically, provided you don't fire while the other one's still reloading. Plus, you have the double shot, nearly 800 alpha possible shot. But
yeah, well,
this,
the thing is with a double shot is that you've got to leave yourself out there while it, you know what I mean, for the firing action to happen. So you actually you can put yourself at a disadvantage because if the other guy's loaded, he's going to take lumps out of you before you double shot him.
oh, I said relatively, Diablo. That's what I'm saying. On other 122s, they're relatively inaccurate. Yeah, and you can make it accurate. This thing, instead of starting 0.39 like most of those that do, it starts at 0.35, and then you can add all those bonuses onto it.
Yeah. You can do everything you need to bring that down.
That seems a little bit silly to me. Now it does only have -5. It is a casemate. What is its field of regard? 12 degrees. Not bad for a casemate. Not great, but not bad. And then, where's the mobility? 40. It does 40. And 20 backwards.
Yeah, it would have to have that backward speed to be able to get out of the way. If you double barrel shot, you've got to get out of the way quick because you've already been out there a long time.
Yeah. Now 190 on the armor is not amazing, but I don't know where that 190 is. Is it the upper casemate? You'd have to go look at the tomato.gg or tanks or whatever it is that has it to figure out which part of it is 190. Because, and this will be in my review on this Juto tank, just to change subject slightly here for a moment. I had to laugh. I'm doing the review of this thing. You'll find it. And it's advertised as 200 millimeters on the turret, right? So then I look in the armor inspector thing. The 200 is this square. This is 160 or something like that. The two sides of it. Now there's a little bit of spaced armor there to mess with heat a bit, and this is decently angled, but not enough to matter. It gets it up to like 190.
I don't think anybody in his right mind would aim for the mantle.
Right.
Yeah, the thickest part of the turret. You're never going to aim there.
So it says 200 right here. But that's this piece.
Not the rest of the turret. Oh, wow.
Holy cow. So I just laughed. You know, I'm like, okay, copy 200 for this little tiny. And it actually had some other pieces and chunks and whatnot, but this chunk is 160 or something like that. Which makes me wonder, when you look at, I don't know, let's go find out. Curious.
See, that's probably, yeah, I was just thinking that. Is that like the same sort of stuff for other of the
It is. You always have to, when you look at it, you always have to kind of figure out which part of the turret they're talking about, or the hole they're talking about. They're never talking about the lower hole. The lower hole, if it has one, is never the same thickness that they advertise. The whole thickness. It's almost always, if not always. Let's see, a different thickness, less. Let's see, we got it's USSR and it's TD. Tier 8. $122.2. All right.
I hope you get better quickly. Zamkey's full of flu.
Oh no. Got your tissues ready to roll though? Good. All right, so here it is. Oof. Upper piece 190, 200 around the mantlet, 100 on the upper hole,
right,
and 75 on the lower hole. So it's 190, but it's just and that's, I think, fairly typical of the TDs, that it's the casemate that is the armor that they advertise. The hole, now it's just effective armor is 130. This just isn't really a very armored tank.
It's not at all, is it? No.
I mean, 190 will suit you against, some of the tier 7s and 6s that you'll see, but
yeah,
even a standard round out of a 122 that are now about 192 pen for the standard rounds will have a chance against that.
Yeah, And most people these days use gold anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really a. Although it does bring a fairly fearsome amount of firepower, so if it's running around late game and you're trying to face it, that could suck.
Yeah, I think Diablo was explaining it quite well. You use the single shots until near end game or near end game for your enemy tank, and when it's got less than 800 HP left, you just double barrel it and get rid of it, and then you carry on and move on. And you do that throughout end game, I guess. It's the way it is, isn't it?
Well, it's an option. Well, I think what he said is you do it at the beginning. One thing, if you can double barrel, if you're starting to trade and you can double barrel somebody at the beginning, you can get ahead of the trade pretty quickly, provided they can't.
It was quite interesting. Yeah, it was quite.
Provided they can't press you.
2.5 seconds, whereas the other double barrels are all about 4 or 5 seconds before you've got another shell in the barrel. Yeah. So that does make it slightly OP in my opinion. If you've got the luxury of being able to almost 2.5 seconds later put another shot down.
I mean, imagine you're on proc on the 1-2 line and you're hidden, and you've got something relatively slow moving or stationary, and you have the ability to fire both barrels at him. Man, that's brutal.
I mean, I've had games in. To be fair, I've had games in a double barrel. I can't remember which one it was. That both shells bounced, and that is frustrating. You spend all that time waiting for the aim circle to go down and get it, and then you fire it, and both shells don't do any damage.
But you got a really good pen, man. Standard pen's good for the 122. What did I say it was?
I can't remember.
Most of the 122s are sitting at 192 for their standard AP round.
192, yeah.
And this thing. Someone's probably already typed it up there while I'm searching. Where's that dumb thing? There it is.
Morning, Woody.
This thing's 258. Like, what exactly is it about this one's 122?
It's totally different to the standard. I don't know.
It's technically 2 shells being calculated. I don't know if that's true, Diablo. I mean, in the game mechanics, they both do their own roll. I see what you're saying. If they both hit close to each other, it would probably increase the pen. So I suppose, in reality, maybe.
Madam Yorktown is in from console. Welcome again.
Madam Yorktown, what's happening? Yeah, so we'll have to see how that plays out. I mean, I don't think it has enough to be... It might be, I don't know, it might be broken more than OP. We'll see. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, the stats, I mean, we probably have to give it a month of playing, we'll see.
But I love how it's more accurate. That's awesome, too. 2 barrels right next to each other. Somehow it's just way more accurate than any other 122 in the game.
It's like not working as standard. It's a 152.
What's that?
With a faster reload. It's a 152 with 2 barrels with a faster reload, isn't it?
Sort of. I mean, if you got to load both barrels, it takes a while.
Yeah.
You're gonna farm some salty tears, Gator. The Calliope. Oh, is that a console thing? Since 2 shells are calculated different, so you basically get 2 separate rolls to crit people's tanks. So if you have... Oh, awesome.
That will make it OP, won't it?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Because if if they both get a crit, that's 2 separate shells. I'm assuming one is before the other or something like that, obviously in time. And then you've got all that stuff that happens with crits when one hits and another hits the same place. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's brutal, man. You do see that a lot with double barrel tanks. They do double barrels do a lot of ammo racks and explosions.
I guess the second shell is the one that does it.
Yeah. Well, the mechanics are each shell reduces module HP, provided it does all the right rolls and stuff. So each
Yeah.
time one does the damage, it has the roll for the various critical things that can happen, and you're shooting two right at that time. So as opposed to you shoot one and then you have to aim at the same spot and shoot another, 9 seconds later, this one does it together.
Yeah.
If they hit the same module, which generally they can, I guess, especially close in.
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal. Holy cow. So yeah, we got that thing in the game because we needed that.
Oh yeah.
That's all right though, because the game's going to close in a year and a half, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm not spending any more money on gold.
Yep. In fact, we should probably just close down the stream right now.
Yeah.
We should get ahead of the power curve.
Yes. Yeah, we should be the first to close. And then we'll open up again a week later.
First to close World of Tanks. Guido 1212. On to Pal World. Pal World next.
Yeah.
5 minutes. Gonna go take a break. We'll be right back. As soon as I find the button. Where is it? I don't know.
Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Now in the shadows came a mysterious chap who spoke in a tongue with strange dialect. He offered his help to the mighty Guido to bring some laughter to his love of speedos. To the coffee talk they both came, to bring the message of winning ways to all and sundry and the masses. Yes, that's right, lads and lasses. The damage counts and flexing back will keep you on the right track. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. So in what, if you want to progress, then seek out Guido nonetheless. With his sidekick Pilgrim, he has a message that to win you must be aggressive. The position and place that you must seek, for the winners only, not the weak. The guru speaks, so listen well. His voice rings out like the Liberty Bell, to bring you all to Unicom land, or to die hard trying in the sand. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido. Guido is his name, tanking is his game. Guido.
All right, fellas, we are back. We are back in action. Where were we? Let's see. I think we just sort of were randomly going through things, but missions and specials. I don't think there was much else going on with that, guys. There are no missions other than I think there's the finish up of the snatch. The snatch thing is still going on. You can up to that goes forever. February 20th. Looks like you can do all kinds of stuff each day. So there you go. 13105 is on track. STB is on track. And that's it. The only event going on is, well, the auction.
The auction, yeah.
We have Onslaught. We have the auction. We're waiting for the first battle pass, which I haven't heard anything about. And then we're waiting to close the game down.
Yeah. Well, we got to get front lines in there first.
We got to do a front line before we close?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can make some more credits. So we can close. Or you could go and do stories if you're bored.
Yeah, Pilgrim told me there's a thing called stories. So if you go to Random Battle here, down at the bottom, which is covered by him, but there's one that says stories. Scenarios for beginners.
Quite
I
cool.
may have to do a video on that. Scenarios for beginners.
Yeah. It's a bit of a giggle.
Each operation is a story.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So you get a jock guy talking in your headphones all the way through, and he's quite aggressive and quite funny. And then he almost cries when his crewmate dies. That's funny as well.
Ritter Stott, Stromberg. You can get a reward.
Yeah, you do stuff. You get a little something, I guess.
You get a medal. That's the
get a
reward.
medal.
You don't even get any
Oh,
credits.
yeah, I'm the tiger hunter.
You don't even get credits.
You get nothing.
You're
a tiger hunter. You get a medal.
Spalding.
He says in game, you're there, and this jock boy comes through and goes, "I'm not after the medal for myself. I'm gonna send it home to my mother." It's like, oh really? It's not for me.
Spalding, you'll get nothing and like it. All right. So anyway, yeah, that's it for missions and specials. Subjects du jour. We talked about Operation Cold War already a little bit.
We did.
I guess that's all there is to say about that. Although, whatever. Let's stir the pot. You want to stir the pot a little bit?
Yeah, let's stir the pot.
All right, let me see if I can find it.
World of Tanks 2, isn't it?
That's right. Don't call it World of Tanks 2, Pilgrim.
Yeah. With the Crew 2.0.
That's the American. The American guy. Chopper. And the Russian guy.
There he is.
What is he wearing? What's around his neck? A floaty?
Yeah, possibly. Thingy.
The American guy has some vaguely, well, it is Cold War, so kind of looks like, what were the
It's a flotation device.
what were the camos called from the Gulf War? I can't remember what they were called. They're all wearing singlets underneath, not working as intended.
Singlets, that's it. Medieval singlets.
Singlets. I thought a singlet, but that's a tunic. I thought a singlet was a tunic. That's just, or a tabard or whatever, just like the.
Well, a tabard is the overcoat.
Right.
So a singlet is the very first layer. If you want to go back to medieval knights,
Yeah.
the singlet is the first layer, which is normally made out of wool.
The skins of
So
your
it's
dead
really,
enemies.
Really itchy
Oh, wool.
wool. So shorn from a sheep wool, not bought from a shop wool. So, and then on top of the singlet you have your horsehair shirt, and then on top of the horsehair shirt you have the I can't remember what it's called now. You have a horsehair. Then you have the tabard, which is leather. Then you have your chainmail, and then on top of your chainmail you have your solid armor. So you have to be built like a brick outhouse to be able to be a knight. And that's why they used to hoist them onto the horses. They used to have them. If you look at armor, it's got hooking points on the back where they lift the knight up and then they lower it on the horse. And the horse's saddle is like a very deep sort of seated seat. And if you fall off the horse as a knight, you just lie there waiting to be killed.
I've actually seen. I think that's like a bit of a myth. The lifting
It's
guys.
true, I lived it.
The lifting guys up on horses and stuff was more of a tournament thing with extremely heavy armor, jousting armor.
No, I lived through it.
Because they've done tests with full armor, the stuff they used for actual battle, and you could get back up. It was actually amazingly.
Yeah, no, it
You
was
were
very
you were.
flexible and quite-
It was heavy,
quite used.
but it was amazingly flexible for what it looked like. I guess is what they came to.
Yeah,
I thought that was really
everything
interesting.
was jointed.
Yeah.
I mean, there was plated armor. Say your armor had like 20 odd different plates, so
Yeah.
it was very flexible. And you would have, I mean, the best knights of the day would have French silk undershirts and things like that, so it didn't chafe one's skin, sir.
Can't have that. That'd be ridiculous.
Can't have skin chafing
No.
when we're in war.
I guess they had a helicopter or something in Cold War.
CW.
Yeah, the air
Yeah,
gunship
there
ability
all
was
sorts- yeah,
removed.
There was off-map buttons to bring in airstrikes and helicopters and
Yeah.
artillery and.
It looked like it gave
Amazing.
you some kind of ability to actually aim it and stuff. That's a little crazy.
No. I just went in and just killed everything that came in front of me. And that was it. And then I capped. There was like 3 caps on one map and you had to keep capping it. 3 caps. Well, there you go.
Asia region got the ISU 122-2 for free XP.
No.
Yeah.
What? I bet it was like 2 million or something.
No, 180,000.
Get out, man. See? Look at it. See? They think us rich Westerners. Not on, is it?
The 122 went for 9,105. The minimum bid to get it was 9,105. For NA, it was 9,002.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that? Sorry, the TL or the...
Yeah.
Yeah, the TL.
No, that was the 122-2. The TL, they don't have the numbers here, or do they? I don't think they have the numbers for that out yet. Unless they put it up here somewhere. No, not yet. What is this thing? The SPD... Oh, this was interesting. This is one of the new Polish TDs. Check this out. Speaking of 122s with insane numbers, this 122 does 420
Oh, for crying out.
at tier 7.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
And it's got 1.92 and 0.36. It's almost as good as the 122-2s, but it has more alpha.
That is not going to be a tech tree tank, is it? That is not.
Oh, man. I think min bid, Cliffy, is what it said. Which is weird. I did some... Because... I don't think you can... Can you lower?
Can't bid below what they set it
So that's what I don't understand.
Because I tried
Oh.
to do it with that tank this morning.
Oh, I
No
see.
easy
I can actually change the bid down to 1,500. So it looks like some
yeah, you
people...
can set it to minimum.
It looks like some people did what I probably did. It said the bid that comes up on the thing. You can't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
it's extra.
It automatically adds 100 extra. So it looks like some people for the 122 probably just went with that, and some people bothered to change it down to the
Click it
mid
down,
bid,
yeah, yeah.
and that's how we got to
Yeah.
9,002. I'd imagine that's probably what happened right there. Cliffy, see, you're just raising it, man. You're just there's so much gaming going up. Maybe I'm gonna bid 15,069.
I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking,
I bet you can't. Oh, I can.
see, it doesn't give you the number of participants yet. That's the other thing that's annoying, because you'd like to know whether the 2,000 have gone or not.
This is the
You know what I
way.
mean?
This is the way. 15,069.
I think that's a winner. I think that's the winning bid.
It is or it isn't, because that's all it's going to be.
I think they should number yours 1212 when they give you yours as a farewell gift for being.
Doesn't matter, or we're closing tomorrow.
Yeah, but you can still take it with you when you leave.
Can you?
Yeah, well, you can do screenshots and then have a catalogue of tanks. You can just flick through and say, "Yeah, I remember
10
that
years
one.
from
Yeah, I remember
now,
playing that."
10 years from now,
Yeah.
we'll be like, remember this
Yeah.
tank? Remember this
Yeah.
tank?
Yeah, I'll be sitting on the beach in Florida, and we'll both be going through our iPads and going, "Yeah, remember that?
Now.
Yeah, I remember that one. Remember that artillery piece you used to play, Guido?"
So this big slow casemate, where's the armor? 180, which is reasonable at tier 7. Look at its speed. 50. It does 50.
Of course it does. Because it's gonna be.
What?
Yeah, I'll come and visit, Zemke. I'll come and visit Florida.
It does 50. What on earth?
As we're on subjects as yours, by the way, that message I pinned up there was actually just for you, not for anybody else. It's your next video title. Did you know that? Cost me 10,000 channel points.
Yeah, I'll work on that because I'm an Artie player now. So that, I mean, I could
go.
probably play one game and carry.
You probably can. It'll be a bison, won't it?
Somebody sent me a bishop game that they said was awesome, and I said that's not possible. It's not awesome.
No, it's not possible.
I'll have to look at it. All right, what else we got going on? Where's the end of the game post? We're getting there,
I
folks.
took it down because it's the end of the game.
That's true. At some point, you have to close everything.
Yeah.
So this has been a... Where is it? This has been a big controversy on the forum. The standard thing where there's even a hint of, closing or whatever.
Everybody jumps on it.
The forum loses its mind, of course. Here it is.
Don't
All
you
right.
love it on the forum when when somebody goes, yeah, I've got some inside information from an unknown source.
Yeah.
Of course you have. Of course you have.
It's just straight
You
out
opened
of...
a Christmas cracker and it was inside on the
I
mop.
found it in me buttocks.
Yes.
All right. So there's a lot going on here. It's according to Watt Express, blah, blah, blah. Here's the Russian. Here's one of the translations. The nuance is the following. Okay, the nuance. The usual World of Tanks will be closed in 2025. So first question, is this RU or is this Lesta or is it us? Is it both? Don't know. This is not a joke, but the near future. Those who carefully read the subtexts. They've read the bones. They've consulted the bones. They're reading the tea leaves.
Yeah.
Have already understood this themselves. And you're not smart if you don't know this. Here you don't even need to go far. Watt is already preparing to move into the support stage, and then there will be maintenance only. Yes, and we also wrote about this earlier, but the tankers are still flying in the clouds, so let them continue. You silly people. Only the smart people know what the future will hold.
Yeah.
Karnak.
Yes. Those that are in the loop.
So you just keep throwing money into a project which in 1.5 years, oh well, of course now they will deny everything. All right, so maybe.
Yeah.
It has to end at some point.
Well, I guess it has to, but I don't know. I think if it was to end, it's going to end. But if they were going to end World of Tanks, I think two things would happen. One, they would announce it well in advance, properly themselves, and second, they'd have something else to take its place, and it's not Cold War.
I don't know, man. The companies close.
Well, they do.
Especially in the video game, industry. Develop studios close. They reorganize. They go somewhere else. They divest. They whatever. They've made a lot of money off this. Also, games do go into maintenance mode. Plenty of games out there that are just zombie games that they still have people playing it. Occasionally, people download it and pay them a bit for it. People still buy some of the already developed content for them. There's plenty of games that are on maintenance.
I go along with that because I'm actually playing things like Command and Conquer, which is reinvented itself, if you like, but it's still the old game. And Age of Empires, now it's version 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, Command and Conquer is a remaster.
But they could go for years with it just without putting out new content, as Kez just said. So that's the other thing. Really, what this means probably, and I don't even know. It's like, dude, you didn't see anything that anyone else didn't see. At some point, they are going to stop making content for World of Tanks. That's just where it is. I don't know what to tell you.
It's like any business, isn't it? Unless you find you diverse, you find new things to do. And wargaming is a business. It's not World of Tanks. It's wargaming. So they will the developers will move on. For me, the game's still around. It's playable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would I put if it went into maintenance mode? Would you honestly put money into it, or just play what you've got?
Well, if I'm enjoying it, and I want to have, if for some reason I need. Now it appears that my gold not my gold reserves, but my premium reserves are probably going to get me there.
Yeah, because you've got what, over 1,000.
So I've got 3 years. I've got 3 years worth of premium time.
Yeah, yeah.
And they would still have a store and they would still sell things, and I think they would probably have a small studio that would continue to do events, not big ones, obviously not stuff creating new content events, but they would still do events and weekends and this, that, and the other. I mean, it's still bringing in money potentially, but yeah, they may be moving on to whatever. But that just happens. That's like the natural order of a game. This game is actually at the top end of games. First of all, for how long it's lasted.
Yeah.
With new content continue to come out. I've said this for a long time since this game came out. I think there are more games now than back in the day. When this game was had been going on for about 5 years, which is about 6 or 7 years ago, there weren't a lot of games that had gone that long. There was the World of Warcraft kind of games and a couple of them, but these days it feels like there's more and more that are going on for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because you can still go back and, there's lots of iterations of games. The prime example is Call of Duty. They just remode it every now and again and bring a new sort of, that's been going a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a long while. Like I say, you've got remastered games coming out. So old school who want to go back and play stuff like Command and Conquer. Age of Empires have just brought their version 4 out, which, once you've gone through it, it's done. Really, it's nothing else.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for a while, but it was the same thing.
It was a bit, same old, isn't it? And then you've got the likes of all the other sort of games we talk about. DayZ is ongoing. You've got mods so involved in it that it's morphed into something a lot more than Livonia and Chernarus. You've got thousands of maps out there, thousands of servers.
Yeah.
So it's got its own life.
Yep. So yeah, that article's out there. It's nothing that I don't think people would necessarily expect. It is interesting though that it is the news on it obviously is that it's Watt Express, which is one of the bigger leaking sources for the game, who have been known to be wrong and have been known to be right. So there's been mixed results on that. Obviously, they could actually have somebody who knows that the leadership at the company is starting to talk about the next phase, and that's what you do if you're an executive and you're leading an organization like that, and you see that, or it comes down from the top that, all right, hey, start thinking about how we're going to divest, turn into maintenance mode. That is a model in the industry that happens. Yeah, and if they look at the numbers and go, nope, we can't sustain what we're doing. We've basically put every tank we can think of into the game without doing the same thing. Oh, by the way, they're doing the same thing a lot, right? The Nomad, the Quillan, all these other, skin tanks, all this kind of thing.
So starting to get repetition now, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because we're sort of, the tank count in the game must be 900. You've got nearly all of them, haven't you? You've got 700 now.
We've got 700 of them. But I'm starting to fall behind on that too, because at these days I don't get every single tank anymore. First of all, the CC program started not doing that, so I started losing out on tanks there a little. Not losing out, but not getting them essentially. Not doing what I had to do to get them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Some of the events happen. I don't bother with it. Onslaught, there's tanks locked there. I'm not doing Onslaught, so I'm not going to get those tanks. So I'm starting to fall behind on that. But yeah, I think there's 900 tanks or so in the daggum game.
Yeah, and then you've got to say that. As you say, repetition for the, what can you do for tech trees? Put another line in there, but it's got to be viable, and then because otherwise you start going down the game of fantasy game. It's bad enough now when you've got double barrels and all that sort of good stuff, but you start to get fantasy tanks. They've got.
But they kind of had to do that, Pilgrim, right? They just ran out of real tanks. People get mad. It's like, oh, you're putting these napkin tanks and fantasy tanks and whatever. Well, okay, well, what?
There's no other choice, is there?
As far as putting tanks in, there's really no other choice. Now, there is opportunity cost where you're developing all these new tanks and selling tanks, and you're ignoring gameplay and other interesting things you can do with events and contests and stuff like that, because you don't have an unlimited amount of time for developers and people to do all this stuff. So there's that argument. They definitely heavily went into the monetization, sell tanks thing. That's clear.
Yeah.
Very obvious. But it's not irrational necessarily. You might say, You might say, "Oh, Guido, it's irrational, in the long run," but it's been a long run. They've made a lot of money. People start companies. I have plenty of friends who own businesses and who have owned businesses and sold them and rebought a different one or moved on or whatever. People get tired of doing it.
Yeah.
It could very well be that the company and the owners are just like, look, I made a ton of money. I'm done. I don't want to deal with it. I can't probably sell it really because it's a old game. So we'll just milk it as we can, and as part of the downsizing, we will turn it into maintenance mode, and I'll move on and do whatever the hell I want. People do that.
Yeah.
I had a friend who had a really successful restaurant, and they didn't want to do it anymore, so they sold it.
You get burnout, don't you? 'Cause
Yeah.
You're putting 110% into something all the time. You get to a point, even when you've got a developer team and you've got, staff of 1,000, 2,000 people, you're going to get burnout because it no longer becomes the challenge. No longer becomes the reason to get out of bed in the morning.
Or you're just tired of it.
Tired of it.
Challenge or no, it might still be a challenge, but maybe just like, screw it, I don't feel like doing that. You got, whoa. Randall may have hit the nail on the head. Does this mean the moon base is completed?
Wow, holidays on the moon.
I hadn't considered that, Randall. I think you may have hit the nail on the head. The moon base has been or is nearing completion. Christmas boxes in July.
Yeah, that's what they should do, is have a final flourish of Christmas boxes and call it the closing down sale. So that every tank that is up for auction for the last 12 years that nobody ever was able to get because they were outbidded should all go for $1 worth of gold each. Closing down sale. It
has been a fairly frenzied and getting more frantic increase in selling of stuff, I would say.
Hasn't it? It's got there, hasn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a proper business now.
And I don't know, I wonder if they're not, I am betting they're not necessarily making more money because there are less players. I think they're just putting more stuff out to try to interest people to make some money.
Yeah.
I doubt they're making as much as they made 3 or 4 years ago when they put new stuff out.
Yeah.
Even though there's more stuff, right? So it's just a case of just keep chucking it at them. They'll buy as much as they can, and then we'll go into maintenance mode, and off we go. Everyone gets a chieftain.
Yeah. Everybody gets a 279 early and a chieftain as a farewell gift. Anybody who's got, how many years you got in the game? 12.
God, if I don't get this, I may have to pay them to give me. I may have to pay a company to get me a 279 early, just so I can say that in all my. If I fail to get that, that'll be terrible.
You want the screenshot, don't you? You want to be able to download that.
I have to download. I need to download my 279 early.
That's Guido's.
And then I'll
212 decal on it.
I'll print it out, and I'll tape it onto my little World of Tanks, my remote tanks.
Yes. Yeah.
Then I'll drive around with it, and
we can get some merch done with pictures of the tanks that we've got all over it.
What boosting inbound? Sturm Tiger special mode. Here we go.
Yes, Sturm Tiger. We want one.
Doesn't Blitz have it?
Anyway, talking about putting names on stuff, your name is going on the turret of the FV 4005. Have you told the community this?
I haven't. I think you mentioned it once.
I did mention it. I've had an email to say that's gone ahead, and they've asked me what name. So that's now been signed off. So once it's completed, your name will be on the side of an FE 4005 forever.
Nice.
So never mind, World of Tanks is closing down. Guido will be known for.
I'll just go drive.
Guido 1212.
I'll just go drive my 4005 around the neighborhood.
That's it. There you go. Just squash all the other people's trucks and vans and cars and everything.
Shoot that 183 billion millimeter gun and stuff.
Yeah. You'll be able to park it in your post box, won't you? In your mailbox.
That is a hilarious development thing, They're like, holy crap, look at this IS-3. What do we do about that? Oh, I don't know. Let's just put a gigantic gun on a barn, and we'll just annihilate it.
Oh, dear.
122 millimeters? Whatever, dude. Here's 183. That's almost like,
Yeah, true, Gator.
honestly, that's a concept of development and response that's almost like Germanesque with the mouse thing.
It is, isn't
You know what I mean?
Build bigger and badder.
Yeah, it's just a monster thing that's ridiculous, and the British are like, well, let's Charhand at it, you know?
Yeah.
We got a problem. The other team has a lot of stuff, and look at it's got a pretty good lot of stuff. Let's just build the super weapon.
Yeah, well, I mean, basically they took effectively a naval gun and put it on, I think it was a challenge, not a Challenger, a Chieftain Centurion chassis. And went, that'll do.
How many
you
inches?
Can see it from 5 miles away.
How many inches is 183 millimeters? Is that a 7-inch like naval gun, or
yeah, it's got to be
7 or 5 or something like that, or is it more?
Big as 7, I think. Big as 7. Somebody tell us in chat, because I can't do maths. Maths with an S. What's 180? Let's do the conversion. That's what I told us, Emke. Yeah.
Oh boy. I guess I could just Google it.
That's what I'm doing now. I'm Googling it.
7. I was right.
72-inch.
7.2.
Yeah, 7.2 inch.
So it's a 7-inch naval gun, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like a destroyer main armament, World War II destroyer main armament kind of size.
It's just mad, isn't it?
And it's a secondary battery for a battleship.
Like this, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a secondary battleship for like a heavy cruiser or a battleship. Yeah, that's nuts. Yep. All right. What else, man? I think I'm running out of stuff to talk about. You know, the game's dying, so it's hard.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is hard.
Polish TDs are looking a little bit silly. It's early days, so they're probably going to get nerfed. I don't know about those numbers. Those numbers are a little bit out of control.
But they always do that anyway, don't they? You know, they have all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff attached to that, and then they put it through the various tests, and then they get it what they call balanced, and then they introduce it into the game.
I'm betting that's by design. I'm betting they start high with almost all that stuff just to start hype, you know, because people always remember the early days hype. It's like the news cycle. You just say something outrageous, and even if it's not true, and even if you have to walk it back or change the stats later, the damage is already done, or the point's already, it's already out there. So they probably do that on purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pizza, beer, and NyQuil. That'll fix you up.
That'll fix you up. Of course it will.
Pizza and beer. I haven't had a beer since the 31st.
Yeah, how's that going?
Good.
All right.
Good. Yeah.
Close to the end of the month, isn't it?
Yeah, Thursday.
3 days.
So pub night Thursday happens to be the 1st of February.
You're gonna make up for all that.
No. But I will have I will have a beer that day. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll go to the tasting.
They had we have a program called Outside Wildlife or something like that on TV on a Sunday morning here in the UK, and it's hosted by a guy called Alan Titmarsh, who's a very good gardener.
Who?
Alan Titmarsh. Yeah, don't go there. It's an English name, all right. And he didn't mention anything about snatches, but what he mentioned was that what he did. I love these programs. These are quintessentially English programs.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's all about the countryside and the birds and the badgers and all.
It's all very civil and genteel and. Yep.
And he's dressed in proper gentleman's farmer outfit with a singlet and all the rest of it. So
a nice vest.
A nice vest.
Yeah.
And a sort of +4s and everything else. And then he does this thing, pie and ale section.
Oh, nice.
So he gets various craft ales and matches them with the right type of pie to eat. It's just like, for me, it's like, that is just how I want to be. I just want to go down the pub, have a decent craft beer, and have with it the right pie. So it's,
like a meat pie or vegetable. How many different kind of pies are there?
Oh, there's a million pies. There's a million British English pies. I mean, there's the famous Melton Mowbray pork pies. They're world famous. They are. There were actually. Melton Mowbray is a town in I want to say Leicestershire, somewhere up that way, But they were not made officially in Melton Mowbray. They were called Melton Mowbray pork pies, but they were actually made down the road. And then a shop opened up in Melton Mowbray, or a baker's, and they claimed the name to it. There was like a mini war between these shops, you know. We are from Melton Mowbray. We have the original Melton Mowbray recipe pies and all that sort of stuff.
Yours is false, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Yours is not the real thing.
It's like going to Bakewell to get a Bakewell tart.
There you are. See, yeah. It's like I don't know. It's it's just so English, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I love it because apparently the thing to drink with chicken pie is cider, not beer. You have to drink craft cider. So local homemade cider sort of thing.
With which
sweet apples?
With what?
With chicken pie.
Chicken pie has to be a cider.
It has to be cider.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, quintessentially English. If you eat chicken pie, any form of chicken pie with the crust on the top, you have to have a glass of cider, old aged cider, not a tin of.
That's the thing about the pies too, right? The flaky crust has to be correct.
The flaky, yeah.
Has to be.
And the right amount, yeah, and the right amount of liquid inside, so it's not too soggy, so you still get the crispiness and the filling. So some pies, right? This is pie talk now.
That's right.
Some pies are only filled a third up, so you get a lot of fresh air or baked air in a pie. They're terrible pies. You need a full pie with the crust on the top.
Nobody wants to eat baked air. That's not.
Nobody wants to.
It's not filling. No. Baked air is not.
No.
Oh, so
eat baked air.
You know that they're chincing on you.
That's the one.
If you dig into the pie and there's a space between the food and the top of the pie, okay.
Yeah, they've done you over. That's what the French do. They have air pies.
So I like TikTok because there's so much funny stuff on there. But I also like the cooking stuff. I will sit there and watch cooking videos. Like that's where I am in life right now. It's a French guy, and Jacques.
Cousteau?
No.
Did he swim a lot?
No, but he cooks a lot,
okay.
And he's quite famous in the cooking community. I didn't really know anything about him until fairly recently, but he does all this like country cooking, French country, but it's everywhere really because he's been in the States as a chef and executive chef, yada yada. He's much older now, so I think he's retired. He's at his house, but he does videos. I think he's on YouTube as well, and he'll cook. He'll just do really simple stuff. It's really awesome. But the reason I'm bringing this up, and I don't know why I thought about it, but when he does his videos, he is old school, and I have never seen so much cross contamination in my entire life.
Yeah.
Right, so he's got a wood cutting board, and he'll take a piece of raw chicken breast, slap that down. He'll reach over after grabbing it with his bare hand, grab his salt shaker, do that, grab his pat on the raw chicken, go over and grab his pepper grinder, put that down, and then he'll take that, he'll toss that into the fryer, and then he'll take the veg and he'll cut an onion right over where the freaking.
Yeah, great, isn't it? Who cares about germs? It makes a man of you.
I mean, I'm looking at this guy, I'm like, well,
Excuse me.
I'm assuming he didn't kill anybody in his career.
You would hope.
I mean, yeah, exactly. That's what made me think of it, oh, Brute. I'm like,
yeah.
I bet in the main, the cross-contamination thing is well overblown. I obviously know that clearly it can be a bad thing if you get the wrong germs in the wrong place. You can kill people with salmonella and all that.
Well, I think cooking does an awful lot to get rid of that.
It does. It does. But, yeah, so I think it's like a twofold thing. It's like we probably go way overboard on it, but at the same time, the repercussions for not going way overboard can be pretty bad. But this dude's clearly hasn't affected his life.
He doesn't care. He just cooks it as he sees it. But then you've got history, haven't you? You've actually set a precedent about cooking on your channel because you did it, didn't you? You did a Christmassy thing, didn't you?
I did. I made some kind of groat thing. Yeah, but Kedge, what I'm saying is he'll cut that and he'll make salads out of it. right? Uncooked. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't even understand. And he doesn't wash his hands that I can tell. Now, maybe it's so well edited that I can't tell, but I don't think so. I've looked for it. I'm like, where's the cut after he moved his hands or whatever? And maybe I'm just missing it. Just because it does sort of, he does change the angles. It'll show his hands and it'll come back. So maybe in between all that, he's absolutely clean. But it doesn't show that. It doesn't look that way.
No, and if you're following that recipe to the letter, you're going to have the same dirty old hands when you're cooking in the kitchen, aren't you? You know what I mean? Oh, that's how he did it.
That's interesting, Dave Hustlers. I hadn't really considered that.
Interesting, isn't it?
So basically, it doesn't all reach the level of I feel horrible. Maybe just my stomach isn't so good. Like, oh, I have like, I don't feel my stomach, and you go to the bathroom. I go, okay, well that wasn't great, and then, but that's maybe what it was. More than likely, you got some kind of stomach thing going on.
Well, Brute makes a good point about feeding your children dirt. I mean, back in the day when I was a child, that was probably the staple diet. I'd go out in the back garden and eat mud. You know.
Well, I mean,
poor upbringing.
Yep. You get those English pig farmers out there.
Yeah. Did I tell you about a pig farm that I fell in?
No.
I've not tell you that story.
You fell in.
Yeah. Well, shall I? Have we got time?
Oh yeah, we got all kinds of time for pig farm.
When I was in the close observation platoon in Northern Ireland, we were tasked to go on observe a farmhouse with believe it or not, a pub attached to it. So it was a farmhouse with a pub attached to it because we had that there was going to be a significant handover of terrorist weapons at that time. This is way back when. It was
a gathering point, so that's the place where they would go. Yeah.
They're basically what they used to do is park two cars up boot to boot, or what do you call them? Back
trunk to trunk.
Yeah, trunk to trunk, and then they would swap them over. So we were tasked as close observation platoon to go and gilly up and sit in some bulrushes on the opposite side of the road at a dark o'clock, and then just take masses of photographs and all the rest of it and see what we could see. So we flew in a helicopter about 5 miles out, dropped off, and then we made our way to the culvert, which was supposed to be full of bulrushes and everything else, which our intelligence corps had told us it would be full of bulrushes, so it was a good place to hide in. Well, we got there and there was no bulrushes, so there was nowhere to hide. So, but the only thing we could do was try and get in the barn next to the pub, which had a big swing doors and had cracks through the door. We thought if we can get into that, and then we could do the photographs through the door, and then we can skedaddle out the back. So I was point man because I was the youngest guy there. Always point man, youngest man, point man. So we managed to get around to the back of the farmhouse, and we got to the back of the shed. And little unbeknown to me, I did not know that pigs pooed a lot, which obviously they do because it looks like solid floor. So I climbed the back of this gate into what was basically 6 foot deep of pig poo. So I just went flying. All my weapon and everything covered from head to toe in pig poo. But we still had to do the op. So I had to sit lying down, looking through the cracks in the door with my oppos 12 feet away from me either side because they didn't want to get any closer for 6.5 hours. So it was like they were like, right, well, you're never coming with us again. I could not get that smell out of me for like weeks afterwards, even though you got back. Oh man, it was funny. I never got a single photograph of anything because nothing happened.
Do you suppose that just maybe, as your chopper went blasting across the sky and landed in a field somewhere, that there wasn't a few Irish guys on the phone going, it's headed wherever, and they knew you were somewhere within that 5 to 10 miles of landing.
Of course they did. Yeah. Good old. Well, you see, it was Army Air Corps as well, so it wasn't the RAF that flew us in; it was the Army Air Corps. So.
I mean, I would assume they had all kinds of networks for just talking about where you guys are moving and what's going on.
Very clever, very clever. I tell you what. Here's a thing that as simple as this. You know when you get road signs, and I don't know if you got them in America, but they're triangular. In the UK,
Yeah.
You've got a red bordered triangular road sign. So the point of the triangle's at the top and the base is there. They would use that as an indicator to a location, right? And then from that location, the which would be, say, a roadside pointing that way, then that indicate would go to a tree in a field, a lone tree in a row of hedges, and a particular branch of that tree would then point to a location where they had buried explosive and arms. So it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So they would use everyday objects as a way to be able to say to their own oppos, right, if you go to this road, look down this direction.
So they don't have to do any kind of modification to anything. It's just
nothing
normal
written
stuff.
down, all word of mouth. Yeah, exactly.
Only the
Very
hole in the
clever.
ground to let anyone know, and if you cover that up well enough,
Very
that's
clever.
hard to see too.
Yeah, absolutely. Very clever.
Yeah.
Very clever. There you go.
I haven't fallen into. I fell into a stream.
Did you? Did you get
Yeah.
wet?
Oh yeah.
Of course you got wet. It wasn't a dry one, was it?
Yeah, it was during. It was during. What do we call it? Survival training.
Yeah, got
And we're doing the orienteering part. So we've got the compass, and we're working our way through the forests of Oregon or Washington, I guess. Oregon, or where the hell was it? Can't remember if it was. I think it was. I don't remember
How
now.
long is your survival phase? 5 days?
It's
3
like
days?
a week and a half.
A week and a half? Okay.
Yeah, you have like 3 or 4 days of, at least when I went through, this was a long time ago, 3 or 4 days of academics. Then you did the survival piece of hiking around and camping and, eating stuff you find or whatever. And then there's like 2 days of evasion.
Yeah.
Then they
Yeah,
capture you.
yeah, that was-
Then they capture you, and then you have 2 or 3 days of resistance training. So it's it takes
It's great, isn't it? The old resistance to interrogation. So the white noise, the stress positions, and everything else in the back of your mind, you're thinking, well, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real, but it feels bloody real at the time.
Dude, I just laughed. Honestly, for me, it was annoying, right? Because
Yeah.
it's training. They can't. I don't know. Maybe they let them hurt you guys or whatever. But by the time I went through, they could kind of shake you up and stuff. They couldn't hit you or anything.
No.
And
You could get a slap or something like that. If you're in a stress position, and you let it drop, they'd slap the back of your head and get you,
Right,
that,
right.
That was about it. You know what I mean?
But apparently, back in the day, they could rough you up a bit. But that wasn't going on when I went through. And then, you get these people just get like completely wrapped up in it. It's an interesting mental game. Some of the people we were with I think they started to believe they were in that situation from all the role playing and stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm just like, dude, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to think about there's a couple of things there which is very good psychologically. You've already had a week of being under intense stress from having to survive. If it's proper survival, if you're having to do like 5 days of living off the land.
Ours was
and
2.
evading.
It was 2.5. It was 3 days,
Well,
2 nights. It
If
was-
you're not sleeping, that's
True.
That's
Yeah, you can get
72 hours.
dehydrated and get tired and shit. Sure.
So you're starting to get affected, and then when you do your escape and evasion, and the evasion part, you'll never evade the DS staff because they'll catch you. They can see you from miles away.
Oh, they know where you are the whole time. Yeah.
Way
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
So they're going to capture you. So by the time you get to that point, you're already degraded to a point, mentally and physically, to a point. So it doesn't take much to push people.
Yeah, the evasion piece is they just want to see you attempt to do the things that they showed you to do.
Yeah.
You're not going to get away from them. They're out there every weekend and they know where everything is, and and it's their job to know you're where you are, right? They don't want to lose you.
Yeah. No, Christ, imagine that. Oh, we've lost one.
Wow, he was really good. He was so good we lost him though. That
Yeah.
when you went in teams too as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just it was really interesting watching people, the psychological piece. Some people just aren't built for it, and this is Air Force survival, so let's not get too excited. It wasn't like I was joining the Green Berets or some shit. It was very doable. There was no real danger involved other than maybe getting dehydrated and feeling bad.
I think also, but I think to your credit as a pilot, if you're down behind enemy lines, then there is an element of
It was good
reels
training.
to that.
Oh yeah, there
Yeah,
was good stuff that they told you and helped you understand some of the equipment and all that stuff. And a lot of it was common sense, but it's nice to have somebody give you kind of some of the ins and outs, and you get to sort of ish practice some of it. We'd call in helicopters. A couple of people got picked up. They would do it just to show everybody how it happens, and then of course that person would come back and all that stuff. So they'd go through the radio operations and how you get picked up and how you use the penetrator and the thing that you climb on and all that crap. Which was good. But anyway,
Do you still have TAC beacons, or did you used to have TAC beacons and things like that on your chair, on your rig when you ejected?
Yeah.
So you could actually be tracked and all the rest of it.
Yep.
I mean, it's old news now. It's nothing secret about it, but that's how we.
I don't know what they have now. There might be even something more
different.
Gucci, or it might be a more Gucci capability now with GPS and all that kind of crap. But they had radios and beacons back in my day. But they tell you while you're doing your orienteering, hiking through, like, all right, one thing, when you come to a river, obviously try to find a place that you can cross without getting too wet.
Yeah.
However, avoid walking over logs because they look like a good idea.
Yeah.
So we come up to it, and I was with I think he was an airman. So I think I'm a captain at the time, and I got the airman with me, and we come up to this just a little creek, not pretty decently deep, enough that you could submerge yourself, but you're not going to drown, right?
Yeah,
unless you laid flat in it, but it's enough that you could get pretty seriously wet. And there's a pretty big log because this is up in the forests of the Northwest, and I'm like, man, this thing's so big, it's like a bridge. And I'm like, let's just use this thing. He's like, oh, sir, they told us not to use it. I'm like, dude, it's fine. I'm like, I hike all over. I hike all over the place. I use logs all the time. So you got your pack on your back. Yeah, I'm a mountain man. You got your pack on your back and shit. So he goes over, no problem. So I start going over, and just as and it was slightly uphill, and just as I got to the end, I'm like, see, and that's when I slipped.
Of course it is.
And I went backwards. Right, I couldn't go forward. The pack took me backwards, and I go into that creek.
Yep, I told you, sir.
And so my face is out of the water, but basically I am submerged. I come up like a freaking like a scalded cat, and I'm like, dude. So then we spent about 2 hours drying out stuff because it was cold. It was like March, so there was still snow on the ground, but
wow.
it was soggy and old snow and sleety.
Always the worst time, isn't it?
Oh, it's horrible. As far as the weather goes, it was awful, and now I'm completely soaked, so I had to dry everything out. So we sit there. I had packed stuff in the pack enough that I did have some BDUs in there that were not wet or not completely soaked. So I got those out, changed out, and then dried my other shit out. But we hung out there for about 2 hours with the fire.
Oh dear. I think that sort of stuff is good fun, and they always give you rules, which you never ever stick by. I mean, we when I did mine, we were told you're not allowed to approach the civilian population or their domiciles, so farmhouses and all that lot.
Yeah.
But I just tipped up to the nearest farmhouse and robbed a bicycle, and cycled my way around. I had to get at the end of it all. We had to take the bike back to the owner. You know what I mean? Because they'd phone the police and some scallies just nicked my bike. I just cycled around the training area on somebody's bike. It was quite funny.
Yeah, we're out in the forest. It was a national forest, so there were no real buildings around where we were.
Oh, it's just a shame.
I know
it's
one night.
Fun to interact. You dressed. I don't know about you guys. We had like an old green army T-shirt on. And then an old brown battle dress coat that reached below your knees, and that's all you got. No boots, just a pair of trainers, a pair of old knackered trainers. That was it. We were then bundled into the back of the truck, tied up, bundled, blindfolded, rolled out of the back of the truck on the move. Bounce, bounce, bounce. You could hear the truck going off in the distance, so you thought you'd take your blindfold up and everything else, and then you look around and go, where am I? I don't know. And then you get this voice, you've got 3 days to get to a certain location. You're like, oh all right then.
Great.
Cool.
Yeah, ours is a little more organized. It's the Air Force version. They took us out there, obviously on a big bus. They get us out. The first day is basically hiking from point to point, orienteering, just to everybody practicing, taking lead to go to the next point. And we moved around a bit, and then you'd camp that night. The first night, they give you a bunch of MREs. You break them down. I actually smuggled an extra MRE in. Because you break it down, you put it all together, and you don't really check. So I had extra. I came back with food. And I wasn't hungry.
Oh, check you out.
But so you go there, you camp out. The second night, the first night, they give you a rabbit, and you're supposed to kill the rabbit, skin it, gut it, cook it. It was delicious. They give you some vegetables too, so you make like a stew.
Yeah.
For the first night, and you're supposed to save enough veggie to make a stew the second night, and it's just going to be a veggie stew. At least that's what it
Never
was.
happens, does it?
Well, we did. I mean, we saved enough. We were going to have just a vegetable stew, which didn't sound too great. You got the standard people. I can't kill the rabbit or whatever,
Shame.
And whatever. You grab it, you swing it, and break its neck, and you gut it, and you eat a rabbit.
Yeah.
And it's delicious.
Yeah.
So we do that, and then the second day, you're going to have the veggie stew thing. Well, we start cooking the stew, and it's probably 8 at 7. Maybe 6 or 7. You go to bed early because it gets dark, right? And there's no light other than
Nothing
your
else
flashlight.
to do,
And you're tired because you've been hiking all day, so why not?
Yeah.
So we were basically at the end of the night. It was only maybe 7:30, 8 at night. There's probably 4 or 5 of us still at the fire, and the instructors come up in the truck. One instructor hangs out with you basically just to keep an eye on everybody, and then the other ones are whatever they're doing. They come up the road. The other guys come up the road and pull out of the back. They got a deer carcass. And it's been field butchered, so it's really just the rib cage and some of the larger bones that are left. And they're like, "Hey, you guys want any of this?" And I go over and look at it. I'm like, "Hell yeah, we want that." And you got some other people kind of come around looking at it, and kind of like a brute saying, inside person, they're like, "Ooh, no." So they go off and they get in their tents, right? So me and about 3 other guys, all basically Western or rural people, grab that thing, take it, get the knives out, start cooking pieces of it over the fire, and now we got that venison, that cooking venison smell going on. That cooking smell, and all of a sudden you see these heads poke out of the tents.
Is there anything left?
Yeah, they start kind of wandering, like, "What are you guys doing?" And we're over there like,
gnawing away on the rib cage. Nah, there's nothing left for you guys.
And since it'd been field butchered, there was plenty of pieces that you could, get off of there.
Yeah.
That was one of the better damn meals I had, man. Yep.
There's something to be said for that outdoor eating as well. I mean, we're those of us who are outdoor people are outdoor people. But I mean, I've been trying to persuade the house generals to get a fire pit in the back here. And she's like, no. I said, yeah, because there's nothing better than sitting out. I know we do have smokers and barbecues and all that, but a fire pit, sat around it, you know what I mean, with, I don't know, just a piece of meat and a stick, and just cooking it that way.
Yeah.
That would be so much fun. But I'm not allowed that, so.
Yeah, I don't know, Brute. I got the picture that the whole MRE thing was sort of recent. When I went there, they started to let you take those, but there was no starvation for me during the orienteering and survival piece. I had plenty of food.
But I didn't want to mention this, Guido, but now Brute has. I was actually having to make things like worm omelettes. So I'd scavenged some eggs from a farmhouse. The only meat I could get was to dig up a few earthworms and chuck them into the omelettes, mate. So, you know what I mean? MREs, what a kill for an MRE.
the eggs probably plenty of protein.
Yeah, I probably could have done without the worms, but hey, why not? When you're out there.
They did that. The instructors showed you the various things you could eat, and you'd kind of test some of it. And some guys ate insects or ants and stuff like that. And you could do that if you wanted to, just to kind of show what things are edible. Somebody ate a grasshopper, which they said was about the nastiest thing they ever ate. I'm like, I know they're nasty. I don't need to eat it to prove that. If I'm forced to, then I'll do what I got to do. But no, thank you.
It's all good fun, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
At the end of it, the thing about it, psychologically, if you've got your wits about you, know that it's only going to last maximum 72 hours before something else is going to happen, and then you move along with it. So
that's why I thought it was such an interesting exercise, because some people apparently
they get into it, don't they?
Yeah, they kind of weren't that they weren't able to process that. Like they're so in the moment that they didn't understand that they can't kill you. They can't really hurt you. You have a plane ticket 3 days from now.
Yeah.
Or 4 days, you know, whatever it is. It sucks.
Yeah.
You know, I always remember there was an interview during Katrina, and plenty of bad stuff happened during Katrina over New Orleans. I would not have wanted to be there, but there was a lady, and she was at the place, the Super Bowl, whatever the dome they have, whatever the hell it's called, can't remember right now, but you know, obviously a refugee, probably had bad stuff happen, noted, but she's just freaking out about how they're killing us. I'm dying or whatever. I'm like, lady, you ain't dying.
No.
All right, you're really, really uncomfortable.
Yes, life's not a bunch of roses at the moment.
Yeah,
but you know
and it's bad. You're not happy, but
no,
you ain't dying. All right, there's an MRE in your hand. I see the drink. Yes, there's not a lot of goodness going on, but at the same time, you're not. There's a difference between I'm dying and I'm super uncomfortable.
It really, and that's strength of mind, that's strength of character, to be honest. You know, we as a society, we've lived a fairly comfortable lives, haven't we? I guess most of us. None of us have had to.
Oh hell yeah! In the West, good God, yeah.
Absolutely.
The most comfortable life of all time.
Yeah.
Like,
not
absolutely. Even close.
Nobody's. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody's having to go out and, you know, scrape the earth to make a meal or anything like that. You know.
Yeah.
And there's a Maslow's theory of I can't remember what it's called, but it's a Professor Maslow had a theory. It's a triangular theory. You might have come across it in the military career.
Oh yeah.
Where there's a base level. So the base level is food and warmth. So if you've got food and warmth,
shelter,
you can survive. That's it. And then you go up the pyramid, the more luxurious it gets. So you can bring yourself, and it's part of your training in some of the forces.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
That's it. And you can bring yourself down to the base level and exist at that level quite easily, because everything else is not a necessity.
Sure.
You know, if you've got food and warmth, or food and dry and warmth, if you like, then everything else is just.
The problem is, in modern society, especially in the West, they start to believe that these other things become necessities.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And they don't have any concept of how the vast majority of humans have lived during history.
Yeah.
And you should count your lucky stars.
That is the biggest, isn't it? I can't live without my phone.
Yeah. I mean, sad to say, but if you're poor and overweight in the West, you are better off than 99.9% of every human who's ever lived in history.
Yeah. Isn't that sad?
Because it's amazing. It is amazing. Maslow's, yep. Cool. Yeah, so that's all that just to get to the I fell in a stream.
You fell in a stream, but you did it spectacularly. You did it like an officer, sir.
Because I felt like
to the end of the log and decided to fall backwards.
Because I was smarter than that instructor.
Yeah, well done, sir. And you had an extra packet of MREs on you. You cheating scumbag.
I think I've told it. I'll tell one more story about that because it's the best story. But they told you. I think I've told this multiple times, so I'll just tell it again. If you guys heard it, whatever. They tell you, one of the training things they tell you is on the resistance side is if you can. They tell you if you can smuggle it into captivity, which seems weird because that's not really what's happening. But the idea was to hide stuff, like if you have stuff, hide it on your person, like sew it into your. Because one of the things the Vietnam guys did in the Hanoi Hilton is they would sew needles or things into their clothes so they could hide it, right? Hide stuff around their body and things and their clothing.
Button compasses and all that.
Yeah, so they tried to tell you about that and figure it out. And they said, all right, so your challenge is try to smoke. Because what happens is you get captured and they bring you back and then you do a day of academics for the resistance piece and then they grab you again and they put you into the concentration camp event.
So you have time. You have the time then.
Right. Yeah. So what they tell you is, if you can smuggle stuff in, we're going to be looking for it, but see what you can do. And I have no idea how this guy did this, but some people got caught, some didn't. People had licorice in the up in their sleeves and shit, whatever. So they put you in these holding cells that you're supposed to stand there without getting into too many details because all of it is, Air Force stuff. But so we're captured basically, and we're all in the place, and it's probably they come in and they rattle the cage every hour so you can't sleep because they're going to try to get the sleep deprived thing going on, which that happens. But a lot of people are sitting down or sleep against the thing. And then, of course, they get rattled awake, and then if they find enough people, they get mad and they take you out and they yell at you and they call you an animal and all this BS. Well, it's probably 1 or 2 in the morning, so everyone's well tired, and even the instructors are sort of not bothering you too much. They let you get about 3-4 hours of sleep, kind of. Well, I'm sitting in there, and these are kind of metal lockers, essentially, that we're in. And I hear this, boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's across the hall. It's one big hall, and it's a couple cages down. Boom, 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 boom. There's little slits, but you can't see out really. You can kind of see. You can see a little bit, right? So I'm peeking through. I'm like, what the fuck? Boom, boom, boom. And so the instructor dude comes busting out of the office area that where they are. Comes right. What the fuck is that? I just was banging cages and stuff. And doesn't get an answer. He yells a little more. He goes back in. Boom, 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 boom. It comes busting out. Though this time they figured out who it was, so they open it up, and so the guy had smuggled in a rubber ball.
No.
And while he was
doing the Great Escape.
He was bouncing it in his cage to amuse himself.
That's like Steve McQueen in The Great Escape, isn't it? With the old baseball.
So they freak out, right? And they and they're not mad necessarily. I caught the one guy laughing. He actually left when they came out and found it was one of the instructors. I saw the smirk, and he was almost going to bust out laughing. He just 180'd and went back out so we didn't see him laughing. So I'm like, oh, that guy him. So they got this guy's doing push-ups, and he's in the position, and they're yelling at him, whatever, all the shit they do. So they take it from him, they shove him back in there, tell us we're all on report or whatever, whatever version of concentration camp report we were on, I don't know. And I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. So 30 minutes later, bum, 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 bum.
No way.
He had 2.
Boy, you just love that, man. Don't you just love that? Well done, dude. What a star. What a star.
So this time the dude comes down the hall because we're all laughing, right? What's happened now the sound goes off like twice, and now the whole place is laughing, and this dude comes out, he's like, what the hell? And we all go silent, and then he hears the bum, 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 bum. And he busts up. He actually loses it right there. He loses it. The other 2 come out. They're losing it. And then the one guy goes, academic situation, which is how they stop, pause the exercise. Academic situation. Yeah. He opens up, he goes, give me that damn thing. He's like, how did you get 2 in there? And the guy's like,
yep.
He slams it down. He's like, the other 2 guys like, all right, academic situation. Well, however they canceled it, I don't remember what they said. Yeah. And then, he just went out, and they left it. Like, they're like, all right, you got us, dude. I don't know how you got 2 in here. And the cojones to just do it within 30 minutes. Like, what else was he going to do with it? Right? He'd proven he brought it in.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, you got to think it's the small things. When you're in a situation like that, for real, it's the smallest, tiniest little thing that is a positive that you grasp hold of. And that keeps you...
Well, it was funny because it was such a morale boost for everybody.
Yeah.
Not that we necessarily need it, but it was so funny that it totally lightened the mood for everyone. And they knew that they were not going to get a hold of that situation. There was no way without actually hurting people, which they couldn't do. So they just let it go. They left like it hadn't happened. And 2 hours later they were in there because it was 5 in the morning, and then it was time to roust us and do all the bullshit they were going to do that day. But every time I think of that story, I just laugh my ass off, man.
You gotta wonder where
they went. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Honestly, I don't. To this day, I don't know.
Cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what you need. What you need, buddy.
They have at the end of it, they always, at least at that time, they have a little bar place, and they'd bring the class in, and you'd have a beer with the instructors and talk about it.
You get a debrief and everything like that.
Yeah, you get a debrief, but this is like a little casual social event afterwards to kind of, if you want to chat with the chat with him and have a beer or whatever. And and those guys are just like, we have never seen anything like that. My team escaped twice, which like we've never
Really?
we've never seen anybody escape twice.
Wow.
We had a good class. The class commander though was a weird situation. He was actually a lieutenant colonel, which is very odd.
Right.
Because he had been a ground-based GCI guy his whole career, and his unit he was a guard or reserve guy, and his unit was switching over to the AWACS, which he was going to then be an aircrew. And aircrew have to go through survival. Well, since he'd never been, usually you're a lieutenant, right? You're a brand new aircrew or one of the enlisted guys on AWACS or helicopter or whatever. You go early in your career and you knock that out. You don't have to do it again. He'd never done it, so he's much older.
So he's had to do it though.
He did with us. So I'm saying
Wow.
he showed up with us so he's obviously the highest ranking guy. It's usually like a senior lieutenant or a captain or something is the highest ranking guy. You're the commander of the prisoners or whatever.
Yeah.
But so of course they cued in on that and they used that against him and that just like made his life hell.
I bet they did.
But he did not react well. He was unable.
Really?
Oh yeah, he just completely turned into a ball of goo and freaking melted down. It was really weird.
I think, I mean, it happens. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a lieutenant colonel or a private soldier. It's strength of mind, isn't it, more than anything?
I know, but it just goes back to what I was saying for the Air Force version. It was just so easy. There was no. It was annoying. It was uncomfortable. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Well, for hours, the DS, the directing staff, were parachute regiment. And hardest, nastiest people you
I
can
bet.
meet
Yeah.
in Dark Night. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I bet
So-
your level was about 42,000 above what I was doing.
Well, yeah, we were like, you do not want to get caught by these guys because they will just kick the living daylights out of you if they catch you because you failed if you get caught.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get caught anyway.
So how long
So
did you have
just
to wander around?
72 hours I was wandering around in a greatcoat on a bicycle. So, I mean, they just leathered me for that. They were like, first of all, you broke the rule. You went to a farmstead and stole a bicycle.
Could have
So you
said,
get the kicking for that.
I found it.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
found
I did
it.
try that. I did say, it was just by the side of the road. No, it wasn't. We saw you do it, you know. So now you're going to pay for that. And at the end of all this, you're going to take it back to the farmer and say sorry, you know. So, yeah, that was an interesting. And then we were, I want to say 48 hours in interrogation. I think that was very interesting. That was white light, white noise, stress positions,
Yeah.
virtually no sleep. I mean, 20 minutes sleep, something like that, you know.
Yeah, we did that
Can't
part.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was proper. I was blubbing by the end of it. I was like a gibbering wreck, really. But, you know, you get through it, don't you?
Yeah.
You get through it.
Well, fellas, I think that's about it, man. I think we're done here, don't you, Pilgrim?
I think so. That was a
Okay.
good old story, wasn't it?
Yeah, story time. Story time.
Story time.
Yeah, so I should be streaming on Tuesday, I believe. We will have should be a review out for the Juto, the Tier 7 Japanese heavy tank this week. Got a couple good replays from you guys, so I'm going to use some of those. I do appreciate those still. If you've got interesting replays or something you want me to look at, go ahead and send them in. When what ends, Cliffy? I don't know. Good question.
Just
What
do-
do I do with all my time? I'll just keep doing gaming stuff, man. I like other games too, so maybe at some point I expand out. This one's just been so good.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
This one's just been so good. You know, it's always been a great game. I've always enjoyed it, despite all the grief we give it at times and such. It's hard to. It would be hard to replace this actually in terms of something I would just sit down and play a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, all the other games. I mean, the other DayZ does that a lot for me as well. So
Right.
that's a very, very niche game, to be honest. I know it's got a wide following, but it's not to everybody's liking. So
Yeah. So I don't know that. Like, if I take that question seriously, I don't know. That's a great question, but I don't
we
think
can
I'm.
have coffee talk. We can talk about all the crap, can't we?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Talk about other games. Do
Yeah.
do DayZ stuff. I don't know. You know, what we also need to start thinking about is another clan event.
Oh yes, sorry. That's really been on the back burner for.
Yeah.
I will chase that up with the guys.
So come up with ideas, fellas. If there's something you can think of that you'd like to do. Obviously, we did the artillery thing. I know there were some.
An IS-20 that was turning around.
I'm sorry, I got this.
And
Steven
penned
going
all of
here.
them anyway.
All right, there we go. I was looking for somebody to raid. Yeah. So if there's something interesting, I know we've had a couple suggestions. I don't remember exactly what they were, but whatever floats your boat, we can put something goofy or fun. You know, EBR races, something like that was thrown out. I think TOG races, I think, was thrown out.
Let me. I'll work with Dad with that, and we'll.
Okay.
It's not just for the clan; it's anybody who wants to join in, isn't it? So.
Clan sponsored, I guess. Let's call it that.
Yeah, clan sponsored event. Let me give me. I'll get some time this week to put something together. I'll speak to Dad, Atlas, and we'll see. And then next Sunday we can advertise it and then push it for whatever day we'll do it.
All right, let's see who we got. Let's go. Kiki's Gaming Service. Goodness gracious, what is that? Any suggestions?
Bruce says there's jobs available after 4 hours on the World of Tanks main channel. Blah, blah.
Yeah, that's probably where you want to go. We'll go raid somebody just for giggles, and then y'all do what you got to do. How about? Never know any of these people, man. All right, Kiki's Gaming Service has me intrigued. So let's go raid Kiki.
I don't think I'll go with it.
I'm gonna go raid Kiki. All right, guys. Appreciate you coming by. Kiki's. There it is. There are many Kikis. That's bizarre. All right, Pilgrim. Thanks, man. As always, much appreciated. See you guys Tuesday. Thanks for coming by for today. Appreciate follows, subs, all that good stuff. Guido signing off from the left side of the Atlantic.
From the correct side of the Atlantic.
We're heading off in 7 seconds. I'm going to go do battle with a mailbox here in just a moment.
Oh, have fun.
Hopefully I don't dig up some wires or something. See ya!